For calling me to speak for the first time on this bill. I didn't vote at second reading in November. The Honourable Lady for Spen Valley, in her opening speech this morning, said that we could choose to vote with our head or with our heart. And I'm afraid it is that tension, that conflict that I've been grappling with over the last few months. And I'm afraid I can't agree with the Honourable Gentleman, the Chairman of the Justice Select Committee, that this bill is stronger now than it was at second reading. My sympathy for the principle of assisted dying is as strong as it ever was. And the idea of facing a painful death or worse, watching a loved one in pain at the end of their life frightens me. But if there was one thing that frightens me more than that terrifies me, it is the idea that someone I love might choose to accelerate their deaths, imagining it to be one last act of kindness to those of us who care so deeply for them, to take away that opportunity for one last birthday together, or one last Christmas shed, or even something as simple as a picnic. Just one intervention.
Member for giving way. He's making a very powerful point, and on that point, can my honourable members foresee a circumstance where a child turns 18 with anorexia, decides to get assisted dying, and the first time the family hear about it is after they've died?
I'm afraid, as the father of a 17-year-old daughter, I can identify with that question. I can identify with that question a bit too directly. I should add, she doesn't suffer from anorexia, but of course it would, I think, terrify any parents that could ever happen. And I must continue. The Honourable Lady has intervened multiple times. Because I think this really is the issue. I think the Honourable Lady, the sponsor of this bill, has done well with some of the safeguards around coercion, but I think the arguments around coercion, as we normally understand them from a legal point of view, really miss the point. We're not really, in general, talking about where someone with improper aims and motives is setting out to cause someone to take a course of action that they wouldn't otherwise take. This is much more subconscious, subliminal. It may be that wish to avoid being a burden, or it may be the actually reading too much into that doctor's suggestion when they raise perhaps you might wish to consider. Madam Deputy Speaker, as you know, a few years ago I was seriously ill, and at the time I was at my illest, the doctor said I had a 90% chance of dying within weeks at that point. When I regained consciousness, there was nothing that the doctors suggested to me that I was arguing over, whether it was a test, whether it was an angiogram or any other procedure. And I don't know, even in my own circumstances, if I'd been in a position where assisted dying was a possibility and the doctor had raised it entirely neutrally, how I would have interpreted that. There have been some people in this debate who've spoken of those who place a high value on life as if it is some preoccupation of the religiously obsessed. Now, I am a Christian. I'm a very middle-of-the-road Anglican, and whilst I don't take my faith lightly, my church has never told me how to vote on an issue, and it's certainly not going to tell me how to vote on this one. But I do appreciate that, particularly with my own experience, that life is precious, but you don't need to believe in an omniscient, omnipresent God to hold that view that life is precious, and we should only take measures to shorten it very, very carefully. Madam Deputy Speaker, as I said at the start, this bill I don't believe has got better. There are serious concerns around it. I genuinely don't know whether it is possible to put in adequate safeguards to make sure that that assisted dying can be available for the cases where we would all like it, but which would safeguard those difficult cases, the ones that the mother of the house spoke so powerfully about in her very impressive and meaningful speech. But what I do know is that if there is a way, this bill doesn't do it. Yeah. And that's why I will be voting against this afternoon.
David Smith.